Hey, how's it going? My name is Megan McDuffie, and I am a video game composer, music producer, and recording artist. Thank you so much for your comments on the last video. You asked for me to break down a horror piece, so that's what we're doing today. I absolutely love horror as a genre. Some of the things that my creepy music has appeared in include the Wrong Turn reboot trailer, promos for shows like Chicago Fire, Lincoln Rhyme, trailers for The Predator and Annihilation, and a super secret project that I can't talk about yet.
Excellent.
The track I will be dissecting today is called Witch Hunt. I originally did it for a score for a TV pilot. This is a super dynamic horror piece. There's a lot of building and swelling and climactic moments, and then lower, creepier, softer. So it's very this. That won't always be the case. Sometimes it'll be full-on hard-hitting action horror, or it'll be super, super subtle and atmospheric with no rhythm or hits whatsoever. It's been a while since I've heard this track, so let's see what we've got here. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this one. This is a fun one to write. All right, I'm gonna start with one of my favorite elements of any good horror score, and that is a pulse. A good pulse will serve to keep that underlying tension and keep you on the edge of your seat. Simple. See how that just, I don't know about you, but it gets under my skin. And then I'm gonna bring in some, oh yeah. Okay, so this grimy stuff becomes part of the pulse. Just adding to this pulse, this drive, this sense of unease. What is coming? You're dreading it. Part of the pulsing element that I will throw into the composition is rhythmic textures, or rather, rhythmic accents to further highlight the pulse. Solo this for a second. So I have a cool delay on it to make it sound even more pulsy. So another element that I love to throw in on top of the foundational layer of pulsing are rhythmic elements like ticking, scraping. There's something about a clock or even a heartbeat that sets me on edge. Right? That ticking is just incessant. It gets into your head. Okay, ramping up the ticking and scraping. All right, let's layer in some really nasty. Why can't I hear that? Oh, well, that's no good. All right, pro tip, since this is a super old project, well, even aside from the fact that it's a super old project, I always make stems, audio stems, for mixing purposes. But in the case of a super old project like this one, they come in handy because some of the software has changed, things aren't supported anymore. You get it. I have the stem here, which I'm going to bring back into this project. And now I have my stingers, which were previously missing. Always make stems. To further highlight that pulse element, we're going to throw in some rhythmic elements that accentuate the pulse. It's just a different kind of pulse. There's that heartbeat rhythm. Building, 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 building. Right? Throw that on top of that bass pulse that we've got going on. Just that could be part of a horror score, but I don't stop there. What's next? More pulsing elements. I like, for my sound choices in my pulse layers, I like the bass to be super low. I like things to be super growly. You can achieve this with distortion, saturation. For the rhythmic pulsing elements, the ticking, the scraping, things that sound metallic are great. Things that sound wooden, unnerving textures. Think banging on the fence, scraping on the wall. Things that sound feral and unhinged is generally going to perform well for you. So for instance, let's just zoom into this horror kit that I have here. Metal. Just that scrapey, tinny, it's unnerving. And that's what you want. Once I have my foundational pulsing, the bass, some of the synths, the percussion, the ticking, the heartbeats, once I have that all set, I like to fill it out with some more atmospheric textures. Lovely. What's this one? Oh yeah. So good. Everything's super taut and you're waiting for an explosion. A general tip for these textures, or even things in your foundational layers, an essential thing is pitch bending. Please utilize pitch bends for unstable and unnerving sensations. Horror is about being freaked out, right? The feeling of anticipation. There's nothing cooler than a pitch bend because it just breathes. It sounds like an animal cry or a human cry or a ghostly wail. It's got an organic element to it that is super, super freaky. How much pitch bending do I have going on this little lovely thing here? Yep, see, pitch bends all over the place. Just listen to this soloed. Right? It's unstable. Kind of boring when it just sits. But when it's got some movement to it. Okay, we've tackled foundational pulses, we've tackled some rhythmic elements, we've tackled atmospheric textures. What else is in here? Okay, we've briefly touched on the fact that you are building to something in a horror score. Usually it's a reveal, a jump scare, something momentous. We can heighten this tension with things like hits, whooshes, booms, bada boom, stingers, things that are gonna jar us. So let me just solo what I've got going on down here. Oh, so ominous. Oh yeah, see? Oh, so gnarly, I love it. All right, and further down we go. You get some of these cool risers. You'll want to utilize things like risers into your hits. They really, really help build because you can only get so far with your pulsing, your ticking, and your atmospheric breathing. You want something specifically geared towards rising into the climax. That freaky noise surprised me. I forgot that was in there. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to play it from here, and you can hear just a bit of how all of these elements are playing together. Then kind of brings it back. Little breakdown section, but you've still got this driving force. And build. Bigger build. Another very big breakdown, but it's still got that. Oh, that drone is so gorgeous. It's so freaky. I'm gonna solo this for a second. Big old pitch bend. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the mix project real quick. This project that I'm working in right now was the composition and production project, so it was not mixed. These were just the individual elements that I wanted to show you. Okay, we're just gonna take a quick listen to the mix project. And I'm gonna skip to the end. Most soundtracks in general, I find, and especially for horror, it's all about layering, finding samples and instruments that work really well together, play off of one another, and create this cacophony of tension. You're just gonna have to dig through all the stuff that you have, get creative with your sound sourcing. I like sites like freesound.org. You just have to make sure that you're using things that are Creative Commons 0, and also go record your own weird stuff. I have thrown things like my old treadmill, things like squeaky drawers and stool tops, pots and pans. You can just literally use your iPhone and go around and record stuff that you think sounds kind of interesting or that has some sort of sonic depth to it, and layer that into your pieces. You will be surprised at how inspiring just sourcing audio from anywhere and everywhere can be. Also invest in some good libraries for hits and bangs and whooshes and booms and risers and noises. One thing that I really like to do, I will take one of my favorite hits and I will reverse it. So that becomes a really cool riser. So if you have a bunch of really good hits, you also have really cool risers. Let me give you a quick example of that. I am going to reverse this. And now, that's a really nice riser. One last thing before I go, and that is that horror is actually more about utilizing silence than it is music. Practice listening to horror soundtracks and watching horror movies and noting where there is not music and how that makes you feel. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe below. And I am trying to reach 10K on Instagram, so if you could follow me there, that would super help me out. If you have any ideas for future topics for other videos, let me know. Horror films are actually really important. No, it's getting worse.